Hello everybody, I'd like to say thank you for tuning into my audio documentary. Today I will be doing a historical retelling of the murder of Emmet Till, as well as getting some crowd reactions to the horrific murder story that happened multiple years ago. Hello there, Anne. Who am I joined with right now?
You're joined with Sean. I'm 20 and I'm from Dublin.
Lovely to hear, Sean, and I would just like to thank you for being a guest on this audio documentary of mine.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Alright, well, I have one simple question for you before we lead off into all the historical facts. Do you know about the murder of Emmet Till?
I'm slightly familiar. I'm aware it was an African American in America who was lynched, but that's basically as far as my knowledge goes.
Alright. Oh, well, glad to hear that you at least know something about it, and some information is better than no information. So I'll just run through all the facts now, and we'll get that out of the way, and we'll get your reaction at the end, see what you think about it.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good.
Emmet Louis Bobo Till was born in Chicago, Cook County Hospital, to Louis and Mamie Till in 1941. Only 14 years later, in 1955, a young Emmet gets accused of catcalling a white woman at a grocery store. This woman was Caroline Brandt. 4 days later, on the 28th of August, around 2:30 a.m., Carolyn's husband Roy and his half-brother kidnapped Emmet from Moses Wright, a family friend's home. The men describe brutally beating him, taking him to the edge of the Tallahatchie River, shooting him in the head, fastening a large metal fan used for ginning cotton to his neck with barbed wire before pushing his body into the river. 3 days later, Emmet's decomposed corpse is pulled from the river. It is to nobody's surprise that those men were then brought to prison and apprehended. However, they were acquitted of all of their charges, even after they were pointed at in court and described as the men who were seen pulling Emmet from the home. They still got away. Even the kidnapping charges that they were originally brought in for were also dropped. It was to nobody's surprise back then, and even left-wing media in Europe was broadcasting about how the US gets away with murdering black people. It is to no one's shock that the men were never apprehended again, even into the future, or held responsible for their crimes. But we shall remember Emmet Till's murder and use it as a reminder that we need to hold people accountable. Otherwise, innocent people die. Thank you very much for listening. Alright, Sean, well, now that you know that Emmet was wrongfully killed by those two men, what is your opinion and where do you stand? Also knowing that they were never held guilty for their actions.
You know what? That was very eye-opening and a horrific story, but I'm genuinely not surprised. Considering the state of America now and how they treat black and not any non-white people, essentially. There's constant police brutality and white supremacy in America, so genuinely not surprising.
Very happy that your reaction was so kind of sensitive and very, it wasn't ignorant at all. It was, you understood what was kind of going on. You weren't too shocked by it. There wasn't really much to be shocked about if we look back in time.
Exactly.
And if we look at today.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much, Sean, for being a guest once again. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And hopefully you can tune into another audio documentary of mine soon enough. Goodbye.